Yeah. Mr. Ncetezo. Yes. Okay. Piwe. Right, we are ready to start, but before that, we will need to do the formalities which Advocate Mele will tell you about, and then thereafter, Mr. Abrams will take you through the paces. Advocate Mele.
Thank you, Chair. Morning, Mr. Ncetezo. Are you going to take an oath or are you going to affirm?
I'm going to take an oath.
No problem. Mr. Piwe Ncetezo, do you swear that the evidence you're about to give today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If that is so, please raise your right hand and say, "So help me God."
So help me God.
Thank you very much. Mr. Ncetezo, you've now been sworn in as a participant in the SJN hearings.
Thank you.
Mr. Abrams.
Good morning, Mr. Ncetezo.
Good morning, sir.
How are you this morning?
If you would speak a little bit louder.
Okay. How are you, sir?
Very well, thank you. I am just going to... We received your statement, and I believe that you sent a revised statement last night.
Yes, sir. It's actually not revised.
Yeah.
I felt it is necessary before that statement. At
Yes.
least people can know where I'm coming from.
Sure. We're going to give you... So we've read your statement, but what we would like you to do is to tell us your story.
Thank you, sir.
Explain who you are, what your background in cricket is, and why you are here, and what you are hoping to get out of being here.
Yes, sir.
And thank you for making time to come in person to be with us here. So give us your background, your background of involvement in cricket to the time that brought you to make this statement before the Ombudsman.
Yes, sir.
Please speak louder.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. First of all, I'd like to thank all of you for this opportunity, in particular as a grassroots coach. So most of the time, actually not most of the time, all of the time, grassroots coaches, we feel like we are not being, respected. We are not, being valued. We are just a number. So this is dedicated to a friend of mine who passed away a few weeks back, Donald Lehlake from Kagiso. Donald, when I was talking about my issues, we were talking on social media. I had these numbers. I'll just, I did send something, but okay, I don't want my phone to disturb us. So Donald, the last time we spoke, he said to me, Coach, I'm actually going through the same shit you went through right now. And then that was my last conversation with him. So this is dedicated to him because, we need a voice as a grassroots coaches.
So I think that Donald was also a grassroots coach?
Yes, sir.
Where?
In Kagiso.
I see.
So in Kagiso.
Under which structure?
So what they do as a union, so GCP. So wherever you are, they train you there. They're supposed to station you there.
I see.
However, when he died, he had no job, he had nothing.
I see.
So, and then because of, we were trying to speak out as coaches, we are being victimized. We are in the basement of coaching. So that's why I appreciate this opportunity, because whenever we try to speak, whenever we do something, it's either we are victimized. And also another story that touched me is the story of Sunny Boy that was here. So it's the same thing. So yeah, so I dedicate this to Donald.
Sure.
Yeah. So okay, before we start, I'll just to say my main case, is border cricket. So I will give a bit of a background about me. And then, yeah, about cricket. So first of all, my name is Piwe Ncetezo. I was born 9 August 1988. So I was born in the Eastern Cape, a town called Engcobo. The first 10 years of my life, I knew nothing about cricket. So, but I mean, like the environment was happy, and I was a village boy, I was a village child. It took a village to raise me. So the sports that was the sport that was the main sport there was soccer. Of course, as kids would play with clay, and and our imagination was never limited. So we grew up in that environment, good environment, where we are allowed to be who we are. There's space when I go to climb a mountain, when I go to swim, when I swim. So there are no restrictions. There's no discrimination of any sort. Then I moved to Cape Town in a township called Delft, where my mother was. That is when I was introduced to the sport of cricket via the media. Like I had never seen the sports in any way. I didn't even know there was cricket. I only knew there was soccer. Simple as that. So I saw the sport, the 1999 World Cup, and my stepfather, I loved the game. We would watch. I remember vividly a guy called Lance Klusner. So he would hit the ball so much, and from that World Cup, 1999, I fell in love with the sport. Then I got introduced to it a little bit like a formality in primary school, because Delft is multiracial, which is mixed with colors and black people, but it's a poor area, but it's mixed. So the school ended up in primary school. So that's where I first saw cricketing equipment. That was the year 2000. So I was a 12-year-old boy. So yeah, this is where, but they never took cricket serious. So it was just, you wouldn't know, like they would play 2 matches and then nothing happened. So we would continue playing the game on the streets, making our own, equipment, taking old tennis balls and stuff like that. So, and then one thing that I would like to make, clear, I don't know. So when we were playing as kids, since Delft is still a multiracial area, the colored kids would play alone, the black kids would play alone. So there was this notion among the colored kids that black kids don't know cricket. It's not their sport. So if you would go and play with them, they would rather bat last or not bat at all. So, and then they would label you Makayandini, because Makayandini was the only guy that was there, and he was the first bowler. So according to them, you couldn't bat, so that was already that thing. And then going forward, and then, I mean, even the black kids now got discouraged about this, no, this is not for us anyway. So, so we cannot play this sport. And there's no club in Delft, there's no any sort of development. So this is happening in the street, unorganized. I mean, I remember one day, playing in high school, the boys, colored boys were playing alone in the tennis courts of the school. So not tennis courts, netball courts. We got there trying to join them. I remember I tried to take a catch. This colored guy was eating an apple, threw it in my face. And, I felt so humiliated, because my black friends were like, no, this is not for us, but I fell in love with the sport. And I mean, sometimes we'd hear the colored kids saying, you know what, T-Taki is force. So it means we're forcing to play with them. So yeah, but I wouldn't say I hate colored people for that, because I grew up there. There are some of them my neighbors, but I'm just highlighting that. First of all, as a child, I was deprived development because there was no club. So and when they talk about transformation, by the looks of things, they focus on particular townships, not all townships. For example, I'm sure everybody knows of Langa. I'm sure everybody knows of Soweto, but I don't know how many townships we have in South Africa. So my story started like that. First of all, I was deprived of an opportunity to play the game I love as a kid. And even in the street, I was discriminated against because there were no black people that were shown on TV. But okay, to go forward, in Delft, South Library, like there was a program of computers installed called Smart Cape. So then I did my research. Then I found Khayelitsha Cricket Club. So Khayelitsha Cricket Club was about 10 k's away from my home. So that was 2005. And I went to Khayelitsha Cricket. I was 17, so I went there. So what I saw there was actually quite amazing. So these notions that black people cannot bat, cannot play, cannot bowl spin, like they became myths in a sense. Because there I saw Khayelitsha Cricket Club, people can bat, can bowl. I was so, like, now my circle of role models grew, because now my role models were the guys on TV. But I would sit there and then like just watch the first team guys practice, and I was a 17-year-old. So it was quite late to say someone is going to start being introduced to club cricket. But I had to walk 10 k's because I was from a poor home. I had to walk 10 k's from home, drop my school bag. 10 k's about maybe half an hour, 1 hour and 30 minutes. To Khayelitsha, then I would walk again. I would get home at night, but I didn't care because I loved the game. I was dedicated, and now. So
I'm just trying to place in my mind. So you live in Delft.
Yes, sir.
And where would you walk from Delft in order to get to Khayelitsha?
So Delft is so I stayed at Section 8. So Delft is not small. It's maybe you can say it's medium. So I stayed in the middle of Delft. So there is the R300. Then there's a banana bridge. So
yes.
I would cross the R300, which is a freeway.
Yes.
Then I would walk the banana bridge. Then I would pass Site C.
Okay.
Then I'd go
I was just trying to place in my mind because I'm fairly familiar with that,
yes,
with that area.
Yes, sir. So there was a journey, but I can say now Khayelitsha Cricket Club is actually the reason why I became a coach. Because I saw that now in Khayelitsha, if you cannot make it as a player, you can actually make it elsewhere. There were two guys in particular who inspired me. You know, there's a guy there, they're still there, Mzingisi Peter. They were quite like they're quite young, and Bulalani Libazi. So they played a role in my life, in me wanting to become a coach when I saw that this thing of playing cricket didn't work out. So when I got there, we were young kids, and all of us were from broken homes, poor homes, but they made it pleasurable to be there in a cricket field. They made every moment of playing cricket like you wanted to be with your teammates. You wanted to be with the team. You wanted to be with them. And to them, like now, we saw that it wasn't about producing cricketers only, but it was about producing people. It was about developing people. So there's a valuable lesson I learned from them that, listen, if you cannot make it as a cricketer, it's okay. But what type of person are you going to be when you grow up?
Okay, just sorry for my intervention there. What made you decide that you are not going to make it as a player?
So, I'm just going to go there. Let me just see.
Okay.
Okay, So, what made me decide that I was gonna make it as a player? Because there were guys who were talented more than me, but they were struggling. So I'll be frank, like there were guys.
What do you mean they were struggling?
They couldn't make it to professional teams.
I see.
So what is happening in Cape Town is like then there was 1A, which was like for like 1A, 1B, 1C.
Yeah.
So Khayelitsha was at 1C. So how club cricket works? So they got provincial teams from under 13, 15, 17, under 19. Then they got the senior provincial team.
Yes.
Excuse me. So when there was a franchise system, then you would make it for Western Province. So how would you make it for Western Province? If you're a senior guy, maybe you're over 19, you perform for your club, then the province notices, then they pick you. So for me, I saw that the pyramid is gets, the higher you go, the tougher it gets, even in the club cricketing space. Because some guys would even go to join the so-called white clubs. They would be played third team. They would be played, second team. They wouldn't be, like, even opportunities at club cricket and junior cricket were scarce. So, and looking at me and looking at those guys that are talented, that like more talented than me, they're not making it. I was like, it's actually impossible.
So you did not play club cricket at all?
I did play club cricket.
I see.
Just that while I was playing, because I remember after Khayelitsha was so far from me, so I went to Bellville Cricket Club. I went to Belhar Cricket Club. So Bellville Cricket Club, there was a guy called Alison Johnson from West Indies, and I mean, like, this is actually one of also other moments that I can say I cherished there, because in that squad there was also a guy called Renier Munich, because when the franchise system was formed, so guys who were playing provincial, some of them lost their contracts. So I was playing there, and at Bellville I was given a chance to go to practice with the first team in the nest, to trial and stuff like that. But yeah, so I was never told then why I was not picked again for the maybe first 4 teams and stuff like that. But I cannot falter, because as I was underdeveloped. So but then but the coach came to me and said, you're bowling quite well, and yeah, but for me, I cannot falter them. And then one thing that actually changed my mind about cricket, sure. While I was at Belhar Cricket Club, so a colored club.
What is it called again?
Belhar Cricket Club.
Belhar, yeah.
Belhar is about 4 Ks now, closer. Because after I left Khayelitsha, because I wanted to look for a closer club, I went to Mandalay, and then another guy who's late, they called him Takumble, Ulwazi Liwani, he's passed away. Or he did the same thing that Coach Mzien Bulani did to me. So that desire to be a coach grew even more. So while I was at Belhar Cricket Club, we playing a match. So I played the second team, which was playing Reserve C. So for me, I played the game just to enjoy, and also if we can just to touch on what Sunny Boy said. Sunny Boy the other day he said the game took him away from the problems of like a gas. So Delft is quite notorious. So whether you don't make it professionally or what, but as like cricket, you play all day, the whole day, and you practices are longer. So whether you don't make it as a professional or not, but you're actually thankful that you are away. So you like, it's an escape for like, if I may put it that way, it's an escape from a lot of things. So I played. So at Belhar Cricket Club, I was a bowler. So I would bowl like, I don't know, when the ball is old, and like when others are not interested to bowl. So 2-day match, if people understand 2-day matches, it's like the test of club cricket. So there's no limited overs to a bowler. So I'd find that I bowl 1 inning. I only bowl in 1 inning. And then this particular day I cannot forget. We were playing a 2-day match against a Greenpoint Cricket Club at Greenpoint. So after we played there, it's a 2-day match. We got there, and I can remember there Marvin Orina, who's playing for Western Province as a rugby player. He was a provincial under-15 player. So the previous year he had played for the under-15s for Western Province. He had nothing to do what happened, but I didn't bowl a single ball. I batted number 11. So and as a cricket, and maybe people understand cricket, you don't bowl, you bat number 11 in a 2-day match. The match started at 10 and the match ended at 6 in both days. I took my money for taxi, and to get there, and I made a lot of sacrifices. Then that changed the way I saw cricket. To me now, it became quite clear why those guys in Khayelitsha don't make it. Because even in club cricket, they are suppressed whenever. Because this notion of colored people that cricket is for them in Cape Town, actually, it's not a myth. it's not actually, I'm not making things up. As I'm saying, I'm not in a witch hunt for colored people or stuff like that, but that moment, I was playing for a colored team. I was the only black guy in the club, and I didn't bowl a ball, and I was like, okay. And thankfully, that time I already done my level 1 coaching. That I did my level 1 2007 when I was 19. Then I just played. My aim was to, because when I did the level 1 and got into coaching, I was like, you know what, it's tough for me, but I don't want any other child from Delft to ever walk across the R300. I don't want any child from Delft to walk over the banana bridge. I don't want any child from Delft to be treated like this, because the thing about cricket is such small. It's very small. So if I can give you an example, now Soweto Cricket Club has got 1 club. Soweto as a whole has got 1 club. So if someone from Alex comes, I'm just saying for example, now the locals will feel this guy is trying to take our place here. So the reason why I got into coaching was like, listen here, for me as a player, there's no hope. So, but what I've learned from Kylie Cricket Club is that you can still become a coach and develop your surroundings, make a change in your community. So the main reason I got into coach was to develop my surroundings, make a change in my community, develop people, develop players. So just like that. So 2008, I was already coaching. I did my level 1, and so I left Black Cricket Club. That was the last club I played for. That was the last time I played two-day cricket. That was the last time I enjoyed playing cricket, because I was like, this is racial. What else could it be?
Let me see if I understand. So you mean that the last club is Belaha, you say? The last club you played for?
In Cape Town.
Yeah. So you say you left because you felt you were not given a fair chance to play the game?
Yes, sir.
So that's the reason why you gave up?
And I didn't enjoy the game no more.
I see.
Yes, sir. So I didn't enjoy the game no more, because if you're going to bet, everybody in cricket has got a role.
Yes.
So if you're going to pick me in a team,
yes.
Because after that, I went to speak to the chairman of the club. I was like, why did you pick me in that team in the first place if I'm not going to bowl? Because I just want to enjoy the game. I don't care if I play for the third team. I don't play. I never said I was here to enjoy the game. I'm escaping from the social ills. So it's not always about being a professional. So now, but I did play a few games after that, but while I was there, I was focusing on Delft Cricket Club. So I took more of my time now developing the kids in my community. So that was my last two-day game.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Please proceed.
Okay. So just to get back to how I got into coaching in 2007, as I said, and yeah. So while I was doing the courses, Western Province gave us the chance to do the courses again. I went through the library, did my research. So I spoke to a guy called Paul Philipson. He's a very nice guy. They said, no, come through. So what they did, they gave us courses for free. They gave us transport for free. So it was good. So I was also very inspired to meet other coaches, people who make a difference in their communities.
Under which structure? Was it a club level or was it a province level where you were given the coaching opportunity?
So the provincial bodies, they are the ones who are doing the courses.
Sure.
So so in this case, it was Western Province Cricket Association, because I was in Cape Town.
I see.
So everybody wants to do a coaching course or any course, they go through Western Province. So we would meet there, it's all the township guys, then we meet guys there, and we get inspired that, listen, you are gonna change your community here. So, and then there's a need for transformation. So, and then the issue of transformation also, just to touch on it, the saddest thing about transformation, it is always focused on the players. So, but as we go through, maybe you can see what I'm talking about.
Sure.
Because if you're talking about a quota for players, to transform players, so who is coaching those players? So who is coaching those players? Like if you say you want X number of black players, then who is going to coach those players? Yes, it's necessary to have black players in the team. We want that. But why is the transformation only focusing on players? While those players, for example, if someone stays and sightseeing the shacks, there's a Mzip eater there who stays next to him, who knows him in and out, who knows sightsee in and out. Why doesn't this thing like goes hand in hand? You say you transform players, transform coaches. So yeah, we got there, and yeah, and then 2008 the club was registered under Western Province Cricket Association. My club, the club in Delft, the club that I founded.
I see. What is it called?
It was called Gandabhai then.
Sure.
Because as I said, for me as a 19-year-old, I was just making change. So Gandabhai means people, the kids must shine brighter. So they must, wherever they are, so whether they go to become cricketers, or whatever career they have. So it was Gandabhai. And then I registered it under Western Province Cricket Association, and I felt fulfilled, and that I felt like I've got something in the game. As much as now I never enjoyed playing the game, but I felt like I had something in the game, and I felt important. So I felt like I got something to offer my community. So yeah, and now the another challenge that we would have as coaches, we got the courses, yes, the coaching courses. So we had to work elsewhere. We had to find jobs for ourselves elsewhere as township coaches. So we go to academies. So the first academy I worked for was an academy ran by a guy called Ryan Meron. Ryan Meron used to play for Western Province, but because of the franchise mergers, he lost his contract. He started his academy. Then I started also coaching at Piwe Cricket Club. So I was doing only Wednesdays there. So I get 100 rands. I don't get a team. I'm just, so maybe I wouldn't say I'm a coach. I'm just watching the kids. Someone else is just, and then, get 100 rands by cash and go. And then Ryan Meron would call us when he's got, when he's got clinics. So he'd call us coaching clinics, so holiday coaching clinics. Maybe we get 150 a day. And so, excuse me. But now the thing that we had clubs that we were running in the township. So there was nothing happening there, but we ran these clubs. So imagine having to work elsewhere and having to go and coach in the township, the club that Western Province is aware of. And mind you, cricket is not like other sports. In soccer, let me give you an example. You just put one ball there and everybody plays. Cricket, you have to teach these kids basics of cricket, how to hold the bat. Also, you have to drill the attitude. So imagine you've been coaching at Ryan Meron, and you've been at Piwe Cricket Club, and then you come back to this at 4. So it's actually the Western Province is aware that you are doing that. They're not doing anything. They're not even giving you a stipend and say, listen, focus on this thing. Because in the first place, they're actually the ones who actually encourage you to coach. They're actually the ones who encourage you to form a club. So the club is actually registered with them. They give you balls, they give you equipment, they give you transport money to transport the team. So yes, that is good. Yes, that is good to do that. However, in any project, especially community development projects, something needs to be done for the person who is, to make sure that they continue doing that, or else they're gonna leave. In this case, I left. I'm no longer in Cape Town. I'm no longer in Delft. I'm here, and also in this case, I had to. There was a case where I had to look where my bread is buttered. Delft Cricket Club is no longer serving the purpose, because now I left the club 2011. I closed it. I was like, I'm going to Johannesburg. Also, what I saw, because I started coaching 2007, 8, 9, 10, 11. So it was 2011. I was in the 4th year of coaching. So, like in any sector or in any field, in anything in life, you expect the process to reward you. You expect the system to reward you. The system doesn't reward passion, doesn't reward hard work. So no matter how passionate you are, no matter how hardworking you are, if the system, doesn't favor you, it does not favor you. So I was in 4 years of coaching, so I saw that there was nothing happening, and I would get like Delft Cricket Club had about 5 teams now.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Let me see if I understand. You start Gandabhai.
Yes, sir.
Cricket Club.
Yes, sir.
There is also Delft Cricket Club, but you started your own cricket club in order to develop kids in that area.
Yes, sir.
And you say you had to double up as a coach
Somewhere to get paid.
To get paid.
Yes, sir.
So you were not paid for doing the job you were doing at Gandabhai.
Yes, sir.
So, and you say it was discouraging because you would come back at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, for instance. You've earned 100 rand or 150, and you still have to continue coaching these kids.
Yes, sir.
And you say that province was aware of what you are doing. Did you approach province with any proposal of any sort to say, this is what I've done, and I believe this is a good project, we need to develop that area? Did you approach them for assistance at all?
Yes, just to add on that, my
Yes.
answer would be no.
Why is that?
So I got into coaching as a 19-year-old. I was doing grade 11.
Yes.
So we were encouraged to coach. We were encouraged to develop our communities.
Yes.
We were given equipment. We were given balls.
By whom?
By Western Province.
Sure. Yes.
They were paying for the transport.
Yes.
So those things about conversations and stipends only come when I'm older, like now, but maybe had they've done this, because remember Delft Cricket Club, Delft had no club. So, and my point was listen here, when I was sitting at home, listen, I don't want any child from Delft to experience what I experienced. Therefore, and Delft had a committee, had a bank account, was, I got people to join them and so I didn't speak to Western Province. Just that if you encourage someone to do something, maybe you should also, if you also on the same page and you sincerely want that person to continue doing that, maybe that's my thing. Yes, I didn't approach them. Same thing for the equipment, I didn't approach them. Same thing for the transport, I didn't approach them. Same thing for the balls, I didn't approach them, but they saw that I needed balls. They saw that we needed transport. They saw that we needed equipment. So they gave without me asking.
I see.
So for me, it's like telling me to go to Senti, and I don't have taxi money.
Yes.
And then you expect me to go to Senti.
Okay, so you say province supported you with equipment, as I understand it. So the only missing link was the stipend.
Well, at least.
To sustain you, to encourage you to continue doing what you were doing.
Yes, sir.
But that's the part you did not ask.
Yeah. Okay, maybe that's not really why we're here now, but I'm just
okay, sure.
Yeah, it was my fault. So
sure.
I can say it was my fault.
Sure.
Also, opportunities.
Sure.
In terms of opportunities, because there was a guy in the provincial team coaching under 15 called Mark Kobana. So now, as I said, my circle of role models grew because I was exposed more in the game. Mark was the only black guy. He was coaching under 15 the professional teams. And now Coach Bulelani and Coach Mzi were actually in the same situation as me now, because they would coach at Ryan Meron, then go back to Kailicha. So just in 4 years, I'd caught up with the guys who inspired me to get in the game. So as a young coach looking at that, I was like, hey, this is actually exploitation of some sort. Because there were forums, would sit meetings there and talk. And also we, just come back to Gandabhai, Gandabhai became Delft. So I didn't run 2 clubs, so it changed its name.
Oh, I see.
Yes, it changes.
Now it's clearer.
Yeah.
Sure.
So there were meetings. We would sit and I remember there was also at other times coaches were talking about opportunities because there was a Black Township Forum, Black Coaches Township Forum, where coaches would talk. And I remember another guy who was coaching, I forgot who was coaching the Western Province Cricket team. He came to the Black Township Forum. He said also the colored people, they came from poor areas and stuff like that, so they also had to work hard. So there was also another notion now that as black coaches we are lazy. We don't want to work. We don't want to. You see, we are entitled to positions.
But who gave that notion?
There was a coach who stood in front there and said they colored, they also work hard.
Oh, I
Nobody
see.
said they don't work hard.
I see.
So when we air our grievances, because as I said, there was only one black guy. There was under 15 coaches, which is Mark Kobana, and then the other guy in the office was Daskara, which is Ezra Kakwe. And then there was no other black guy in the office. And also talking about now the schools, because there's a school system which is big in South Africa. You didn't see any black coach there, none. And you'd ask yourself, is there a future for me in this thing of coaching? Yes, I would like to continue volunteering in Delft, but will I grow? So that is when 2011 I left Cape Town. 2011 I told them, Taskara, I love what I do, but I need to make a living. So Taskara is Mr. Ezra Kakwe. I told him I'm leaving and I'm not coming back. So 2012 I closed the Cricket Club. Okay, I came back to reopen it, set up a structure. There I left a guy called Lutando Mvenya. He's running the club now. I came back to Joburg. I came back to Joburg wanting to quit cricket because I wanted nothing to do with cricket because of what I see. I see that, as I'm saying, provincial cricket, school system, clubs, there are no black coaches. So if you're going to continue doing this, then you actually, and I see coaches who are older than me struggling, coaches who are coaching me struggling. You know, there's a guy called Olisi Chwako, Ngawe, they called him Ngawe. Ngawe, I remember when we were at Delft, we had the Solomon Makosana tournament, which was organized by Taskara, which is Ezra Kakwe. Nyanga were actually a good team. Nyanga Cricket Club, Nyanga. You know Nyanga, just not far from Delft. It's actually also very notorious. Now it died and nobody, and Ngawe also was one of the guys. I was like, wow, this guy can coach. This guy can coach. But he died, and those are the guys that were actually, I would say, I would learn from. Those are the guys that were who were better than me. I would learn from. So if there's no direction in them, then who am I? So I left, and after I left Joburg, 2011. So now just to double up, I did some. I tried, to work on some community TV because I was like, I'm done with cricket. And
you are now in Joburg.
Yeah, I started with the community TV stuff in Cape Town.
Okay, sure.
Then I did some extra, there are those people in films they call extras. So I just said, listen here, this is not working for me, and I tried to pursue other things because this is not working. There's no future. I don't see any future here as a coach. Black coaches are not going anywhere. They don't develop. So what's the point of yeah. So I came to Joburg, and 2011, I went back to restart. 2012, I stayed in a place called Carltonville, in the mines, because there were some of my family members there. So, and then it was a bit tough to get by, and yeah. So that is when I came back to cricket. When I came back to cricket, 2012, I was fortunate enough, there was a club called the Mavericks. So the Mavericks were ran by a gentleman called Paul Rolofsin and Jacques Ackerman. For the first time in my life as a coach, I felt important. For the first time in cricket, I felt important. Because the Mavericks, they were playing a league called SU1. However, as much as the SU1 was on the Premier League, but they were a new club, they had 5 teams. So I worked with the first team. And in that first team, like the previous, like Marcus Ackerman and Grant Rolofsson are now playing the Dolphins. So they trusted me, basically, like, listen here, Piwe, we trust you. And I mean, I remember the guy giving me Grant's shares because I'm a small, like, guy. I was a small guy. So Grant was 15, gave me sneakers, you know. They gave me a place to stay.
Where are the Mavericks based?
The Mavericks are based in Rodeport.
I see.
So that was 2012.
Sure.
Yeah. So another challenge there, which I wouldn't say is racism, but now it's coming back to the exploitation, victimization of coaches, because there's no what is this? There's no regulation to any club if you hire a coach. So I was the only black guy there. There was a guy called Sean. He didn't want to identify as an African. They said he was a Dutchman. So, yeah. And then there was another guy called John. There was Lee. There was AJ. We were actually a tight team. There was no racism. I would be lying if I said that. But the biggest challenge there. So, I got 2,500 and I stayed at the clubhouse. I appreciated that. Just that the agreement between me and Mr. Rolofsson was this: you are there to coach cricket. So Piwe, you are gonna coach this. You are gonna coach for us. Now, when we first got there, the club had trees, so we had to cut the trees to take, So we work. Now we worked 7 days a week, no rest.
What do you mean? So you did things outside coaching?
Of coaching, yes.
Yes.
So when I tried to speak out, I mean, like, even another guy, Lee, like, he said when we're cutting tree, like, but we coaches, man, we shouldn't be doing this.
Okay, let me see. You get accommodated where?
At the club, there's a field called Fort Recha Park.
Okay.
In Rodeport.
And so that's where you were made to cut trees.
Yes, anything that needed to be done. So anything that needed to be done, if you had to dig a trench, he would give you a peg, to go and dig a trench.
Okay, but all I'm trying to understand is that you were made to do those things to make the place habitable, or it was beyond that?
Not necessarily.
Yes.
Not necessarily. In a sense that if you're given a job as a coach,
yes,
and then, like, you are a coach, you applied as a coach.
Yes.
So you didn't apply as a handyman.
Sure.
So if I can give you an example, I'm sure in this area, in this vicinity, everybody's on the road. So now if a pipe bursts, you're gonna call someone who knows plumbing. If you don't know plumbing, then or if you don't know how to do the plumbing, then you should be judged according to your job that you do. You shouldn't be judged on plumbing, if it makes sense.
Yes, sure.
So when I tried to approach that, because it was a take it or leave it, then I was actually told that listen, you actually staying here. So what else are you gonna do? So I couldn't have a life, basically, because like, we housing you staying here. But my thing was that I'm getting a 2.5. Now I'm no longer in need of a stipend because I left home. I need a salary now. So I couldn't discuss a salary because I'm a coach. So, and I was like, okay. So I spoke to that, and
now I don't understand that. I don't follow that. What does it mean you cannot get a salary because you have become a coach?
No. It was never said like that. But
Yes.
because of how low we are viewed as coaches, it's either you take it or leave it. I'm saying, in a sense, that according to them, coaching is like, okay, it's just another, like, that guy, like, we know anyway they suffer. So whatever we give them, this is I cannot get a salary, but I got that the back of my mind, like, listen here, yeah, anyway, this guy needs like this thing, you know, it's like, we know another one goes, another one comes, so, you know, and we're housing him, so he doesn't have any say. He cannot complain about being given a pig, he cannot complain about, you know, being trenches. So,
you'll forgive me my ignorance, you know, because I'm trying to understand how a person who imparts a skill, like a coach, is not highly regarded in cricket. In the end, who are people who are in cricket who are regarded in high esteem? I can understand the cricketers, the players themselves. But then in the administration of cricket, you have a person who has a skill. That person chooses or is employed to impart the skill he or she has to others who do not have it. I can understand, and I need somebody to make me understand. And if someone out there says, hey, Ntsebeza, how can he be in that position, you know, when he's so ignorant? I can understand. Just let me understand. How is the hierarchy structured in cricket in such a way that a person who is a coach does not seem to be given the prestige and the attention that that he ought to be given?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ntsebeza. That's a very good question, and it's actually a question that I ask myself as well. And also some other coaches ask ourselves that question. So, what happens, you know, as we got CSA,
yes.
So which like governs cricket in South Africa, and then there's a coaching manager, CSA coaching manager. So coach is manager, like coaching manager. So he implements courses and stuff like that, you know. Like, so if I want to do a course, however, there's a coaching manager in a union. For example, if I want to, I stay in Soweto, I want to do a coaching course, I have to go through Gauteng Cricket Board. Then my results are going to be forwarded to this coaching manager at CSA. So all our results from these different provinces are forwarded to this gentleman here. However, unfortunately, I cannot answer that question because it's actually, that's why I'm actually grateful that I like you guys, as much as maybe how small I am and how low I am, but you gave me this opportunity. Hopefully by the time I leave this, maybe, you know, and maybe, you know, this SN Social Justice and Nation Building will actually give those answers. Because as much as, you know, so, and also just to add on that, while I was coaching at Del Cricket Club, one parents would say, thank you, our kids were doing drugs because cricket is very long. So like now they come home tired. And like another parent called me, like, thank you, coach, man. Your child, like my child, you know, was smoking drugs and I didn't know what to do with him. So, but now he likes cricket and he doesn't have time. As much as we want the drugs, but he was playing a match maybe in Roodepoort. Then we get in Delft, 6 o'clock. He's been there the whole day. He wants to smoke. And then he's tired, he sleeps. That is a cycle. On Monday he goes back to practice. So, Advocate Ntsebeza, that's actually a very good question. I cannot answer that for you because maybe the people at CSA need to answer that.
Mr. Ncetezo, let's go back to Cavelia, because remember we're trying to make our way to the Mthatha hub.
Yes, sir.
Eventually. Let's go back to Cavelia. And just to amplify on what the chairperson asked. You get hired as a coach there.
Yes, sir.
You agree on a payment of 2,500. Is it called a stipend? Is it called a salary?
Because the the profession or the field or the sector is not regulated,
Yes.
you're not actually asked how much you want. You are told that, listen here, we're going to give you 2,500.
Right, that's fine.
Because the problem is regulation.
No, I understand.
Yes, sir.
Let's try break it step by step. You then accept it. You
Yes, sir.
accept maybe because you are forced to, because you don't have any better
Yes,
offer
sir.
elsewhere. You accept 2,500, but you are employed as a coach.
Yes, sir.
Right, and whoever you are speaking to also says, look, because you need to be closer to the club here, we'll give you accommodation at I don't know, at the whatever
Yes,
facility. So they give you the 2,500. You call it a stipend. You call it a salary. You then get given accommodation.
Yes, sir.
And your job is to coach,
Yes,
as
sir.
it were.
Yes, sir.
You give us the impression that you were made to do things other than coaching,
Yes, sir.
and you would not be rewarded for that extra.
Yes, yes, sir.
But were you the only one to whom that was done?
Yeah, which is why when I started the story, that it wasn't a story of racism. It was
Yes.
a story of exploitation.
Yes.
Because all of us, like including the white guys, did that, and we
I
actually,
see.
yeah, yes, sir.
So it's very vital that you understand these
Yes,
things,
yes.
and you characterize it properly to say it wasn't racism.
Yes,
it
sir.
was
Exploitation. Yes.
So it boils down to saying, can I take this or not?
It's take it or leave it.
And from what I hear, you say you approached management and
Yes, sir.
tried to say, but look, I'm being made to do things that I'm not supposed to be doing, and so on. Did you ever even approach them about your remuneration, be it a stipend or salary? Did you approach them about that?
So, just also explain before I answer your question, sir.
Yes, sir.
As a coach, there are two things you want. You want to grow, and you want to, like, so it's either you grow financially or you grow skill-wise.
Yes.
So sometimes, because there are no opportunities in both, there's no like opportunities to make money, there's no opportunity to grow. So the thing that I actually liked about the Mavericks, I was working with the first team there.
Sure.
So as much as I didn't like the salary or the stipend, but I was actually saying, okay, this club has got potential of helping me grow, and then like maybe like giving me, I don't know, maybe helping my CV. So maybe this club, maybe the next time I apply, I will say, listen, I worked with the Mavericks. So I didn't complain about that money as much as it was legal. My only complaint was actually this thing of actually doing other stuff.
I see.
Yes, I had a problem, but I was like, okay, there's a bigger picture here. I want to grow as a coach. I want to be recognized as a coach. I want my CV to be good. So I didn't complain about the money.
I see.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Yeah.
So then, I left the Mavericks December 2012. So 2013, I go back to Carlton because this is the only place I had accommodation. So I remember December, like it was in the winter. Excuse me, it was July. So I was staying in Thokoza. Again, to come back to the issue of money and jobs and stuff like that. South Africa doesn't have jobs. So unemployment rate is actually high. So as much as you want to leave cricket coaching, you don't have, anything else. You've dedicated your life to this game. So where are you gonna get, But I'm like, I've been a Dhaka boy. I've worked, construction. I've worked in butcheries. I've worked in a Chinese bar. So it's not like I've never tried other things. Just that now you look and like, and whenever I don't have a job, like, hey, but I love cricket. I still love cricket. I went to the Easterns. There, Mr. Dumile Skate was, I think he was a coach's manager, Mr. Dumile Skate. Because I spoke to a guy called Easterns Cricket Union is the Easterns, which is based in Ekurhuleni. So it actually covers the Ekurhuleni region. Yeah. So there was a women's coaching there, but yeah, like there was a women's camp there. That's where Mr. Skade made me to speak there, and I actually felt good. I had a bit of hope also that, listen here now, I'm in the provincial structure again. But unfortunately, he told me that whatever job opportunities, they are reserved for the locals. So now I was not local in South Africa. I was not local in you know. So, and it made sense because of the opportunities, the less opportunities that are there in cricket. So, and I remember like I felt so bad. I even approached Gauteng Cricket Board guys. This is me. I've been coaching. Now this is 2013. I've been coaching cricket for this long. I would like to continue to develop the game because I love the game. I met a gentleman. I remember we were at the gate at Wanderers. There was Johnson Mahafa. There was Jason Shanisega. I'm quite happy that a guy like Jason now is actually the assistant coach of FWT in the Western Cape. It was him. It was Mr. Colin Kowa. And then Jason Shanisega. He was a hub head coach. The hub program was actually a bit new then. He said to me, "No, you can work with me. Take my number." In Alex, I was like, okay, wow, I'm happy. But now, one thing that touched me was Mr. Colin Kowa said to me, "Are you aware that it is up to me whether I work in Alex or not?" And then I was like, so I said to myself, so what does this mean now? And then Jason never called me. Years later, we spoke about it. He said, "No, like you're not from Alex." So you cannot, So, and I even spoke, I said to Mr. Kowa, I'm even willing to volunteer because I want to grow in this game. Because there's nothing else I can do. Mr. Kowa said he cannot make me volunteer. And now I was in Gauteng, I would ask him, Mr. Kowa, I'm doing this project because I even did a project in Carltonville. I'm doing this project.
So what was Mr. Kowa's position?
He was the cricket services manager.
Where?
At Gauteng Cricket Board.
I see.
Yeah. So they actually the in provincial cricket like grassroots, actually the big bosses basically. So what they say, they actually like cricket services managers. They actually that was happened. So the opportunities never came. They never came. Yes.
May I just interject? After you obtained your level 1 coaching in 2007, did you ever pursue level 2?
Yes, sorry, yeah. I did my level 2 in 2010. And I mean, I was 22 years old and I was the youngest there in the class, and so there was hope, and there was a lot that was expected. So to do level 2, you have to be coaching maybe for 3 years. Now the bit of a challenge, but what I'm gonna please remember, what I'm gonna talk about level 3 was now all the lucrative positions you must have a level 3. So, but I'm gonna talk about that later. So I did my level 2 in 2010. So by the time I was here in Gauteng, I was already 3 years with 3 years a level 2. Yes, ma'am. So okay, then let me just proceed because I just want us to get to the border cricket because it's actually for me the main.
Yes.
So 2013 and 2014, of course, I went back to Cape Town to restart Del Cricket Club. 2015, I came back to Gauteng because my main aim was, while I was in Gauteng, he hit me so hard that I started the project. Then I left it like that. That's when I went to a guy called Tatito Lutando Mvenya. There where I said, Tatito, this club is for the community, so it's not my club. Then it restarted. Then I came back to Gauteng. 2015, I remember. That's when I worked at the Chinese bar, in the mines. And then 2015, because same thing, I was also complaining about pay. I'm not sure, maybe you are aware that people don't really have a say. If you don't have money and you get a job, you don't really have a say and say, listen, I cannot take this. Just also like in 2014, while I was in Cape Town, Mr. Nabil Dean, Clinton Dupree called me in the office there. They said to me, Piwe, we want to make you the under 15, the assistant coach of the senior women's team. Wow, I was over the moon because Western Province is actually one of the leading provinces in cricket. So now I'm going to be the assistant coach of this team. Unfortunately, they never came back to me as to why. I was never appointed. So, and when I asked why, I'm not even answered today. But and what hurts the most is this. I never, because they said to me, we actually see your hard work and your passion, so you actually deserve to get something. To this day, I don't know, because I waited, I spoke to Taskar and asked, like, what's happening? Because this gentleman called me in the office. They said they want to offer me, and I mean, I remember also Clinton Dupree telling me that he's going to give me transport money to go and coach, and then the rest we're going to discuss. That never happened, and that is actually quite demotivating in a space where the opportunities are lacking. You are called and then jiggy, like you don't know what's happening. So, and then I left 2015, then I came back to Joburg. That is when I started to say, listen here, coaching township cricket, there's no future. How about I use my skill to make a living now, you know, because what's happening, if I can go back, the guys in the suburbs, which are mostly white, so if I may be allowed to say the white people, they actually got a lot of, like, they got academies, which are lucrative, like, which they live off. They are living, they are making a living out of academies. I'm like, the guy I was working for, Ryan Meron, you know, had an academy, which we worked for him, you know. I mean, like, who would charge, I mean, let's say 600 rands, a coaching clinic, and then thousands of kids would come. So it's the academy business, if I can say, is actually lucrative in the suburbs. So I was like, okay, listen, it's not working in the township. I started this thing to coach, to make a difference in my surroundings. It's not working. Let me rather start an academy, because this is the only thing I have. I mean, I can say the parents in the West Rand really supported me, because it was in the Western area. I started with a parent who was a doctor in the Western area. They brought his kid. To this day, that parent is still my friend today, and I'm like, his child now is older, you know, yeah. So, and then it moved to 2015 December. It moved to Carltonville, the Foshville part, where I had about 16 kids. So and for the first time as a coach, I felt like I'm earning what I actually deserve. So 2015, go back to 2015 again. I worked at the horse school Randburg, because in 2015 the academy was very slow. So I was there, and I was the under 15 coach. So there was no under 15 B1A, so there was only one team. It's not a big cricketing school. So there I had a chance to work with a guy called Zander Dupree. So I was given 3,500 there a month, yeah, and also, yeah. So what's happening with, as I stated before, as a coach, you want to grow. And I'm sure, like in any sector, I want to grow and fail and learn from failures. So what would happen there is, like, again, you wouldn't be a coach, you'd be a watchman of the kids. So there's a guy, head of cricket, who's telling the kids what to do. So you just get there, stand next to the nets, you don't have a say, you go after your time is so. Yeah, and I remember this day, there was this, like, just one incident. I mean, it's so this, I don't know maybe how you deal with the child who's talking while you're talking. So I mean, this child is a captain here, and so I'm busy giving instruction another day. I tell him to keep quiet. To be frank, I said, okay, shut up now, let me talk. Okay, there was nothing, and I mean, again, not to maybe deviate. There was nothing racial. I mean, like, there were a lot of respectful kids. They were white, like, they respected me as a coach, and they actually wanted my input. But now the head of cricket, like, they knew that there's a head of cricket, but they actually came to me, coach, made jokes. But now this particular kid, I remember, I was packing equipment, next to Zander Dupree, like, Zander Dupree played Proteas, so he was a first team coach there. This parent came to me, that you must never tell my child to shut up again. Yo, then what do I do now?
Now,
yeah,
I would like you to call things by their names.
Yes, sir.
Because we have got a specific mandate to show whether unfair gender or racial discrimination is a factor in the careers of cricketers, managers, coaches, selectors, and everyone else who has taken the occasion, the opportunity to come and speak to us.
Yes, sir.
So I don't want any gray areas, say them as they ought to be said. This is one forum where you are going to say, as an African coach, I was astounded that I got this kind of attitude from a white child whom I told to shut up. And then it was exacerbated by the child's father or mother coming to me, or parent coming to me to say, you must never tell my child to shut up. Now, I don't want that to, I don't want it to be very unclear that this child, this father was Ncetezo or Ncetezo, and it gets lost.
Yeah, okay.
I may not know anything about cricket and all the, technicalities about cricket, but I certainly think that I've got something between my ears that will tell me whether this is conduct that's reflective of racial prejudice.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And this SJN project has been set up to inquire into discrimination. It is not a platform for me to show the extent to which I am proficient in the knowledge of cricket. You can't bet there and what have you, bet number 5. Those are all contextual things, and I would like to know in the end, but that's not my mandate.
Yes, sir.
My mandate is to make sure that I have investigated through these hearings elements or instances of racial discrimination that was unfair, gender discrimination that was unfair, and subjects related thereto. So when you sit there, relax, but don't hold anything back from me because you think that you might probably be overstepping the mark.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
No, just to go back to that issue, because I've been discriminated by various races. Coming back now to the management of different races, so that has actually showed me that the problem in South Africa is not necessarily white versus black.
Yes.
It is the system. The system is allowing me to be violated. It is allowing me to be victimized. It is allowing me to be exploited. So
I get that.
Yes, sir. So
I get that. Don't for one moment in that I don't get that.
Yes,
in
sir.
fact, a number of your colleagues who came before us have emphasized how it was the system.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. But then the system has a context.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So that's why, for me, the most important thing is that let me hear the story.
Okay.
Then let me make my own conclusions. If somebody is going to tell me, no, it's because you don't know cricket, one. That is why, you ask those stupid questions there.
Yes, sir.
That's okay. But I know what racial discrimination looks like.
Sir. Yes,
I
sir.
know what gender discrimination looks like. That I am going to find.
I agree.
And that I want you to assist me.
Yes, sir.
The technicalities, he was asked to bet at 4, number 4 and what have you. Yeah, that's nice. Nice to know. And some experts will come and tell me that.
Yeah.
And then I'll evaluate. And then I'll say, oh, so you say it's not racism. Also, is it by accident that one was white, one was black, or one was Indian, colored? I mean, this is South Africa.
Yes, sir.
We must wake up. Things happen in this country because it is what it is.
Yes, I agree. No, I agree, Advocate. So, yeah, that kid, you know, so the father came and Zander the brain was there, so who was supposed to be my colleague. So I was actually expecting, because as a coach, you actually expect someone to say maybe, you know, but Zander the brain continued packing his, you know, stuff. He didn't care. I went to report the issue to Pete Otto, who was my head of cricket there. Unfortunately, he said no, he was going to find out from the child, so he has to get now both stories. So basically, as a coach, I cannot, I cannot come with the facts. So he was like, okay, listen here. There was nothing done. If I remember well, I was actually the one was removed from that team. I think I was given maybe to go and make coaches like catches somewhere. It didn't sit well with me.
You were given to do what?
Catches. So like, for example, like if they say you're coaching this team,
yes,
then they say, okay, listen here, while now there's this problem, go hit catches somewhere with another team.
I see.
So doing fielding. I actually felt belittled as a coach, because for me, I didn't really see anything wrong with telling a child, listen now, I'm talking. I am the coach. Can you shut up? So as Advocate is saying, yes, I may have been racially discriminated because of that. Now, to get where I'm coming from, this is the type of person I am. Because of what I've been through in the game, I've learned not to come with a blanket approach. Because as I've said, that team was white. There was only one black kid. All the other white kids respected me, so they listened to me. They took instruction from me, so they liked me. Their parents, you know. So that's why I'm saying maybe that child felt superior to me because I was black. So what I've been through actually gave me that mentality. Listen here now, okay. The problem is not black versus white. The black people in the positions are actually not helping the system. The system has been there, implemented by the white people, yes. But what have they done to make sure that people like me are no longer facing whatever we face? So that's what I'm gonna say. So I'm sorry, like if I'm wrong, but for me, I'm not gonna. Yeah. So there's a whole thing. So I left also run because I felt like it belittled. I felt aggrieved. I felt like I wasn't helped. So I left. That was 2015. Then now we're getting closer to border. I formed a cricket academy there in Western area. With kids. December 2015. Like I left, and then January, February, March, April, May. I ran the academy for 5 months in Western area. So, yeah, those kids, if I may be, there's no platform. They were majority Afrikaners. So in the West Rand, I've actually, if we're gonna go further, I've actually, because even the Mavericks were in the West Rand, but there was the first time in my academy where, in my life as a cricket coach, I said I got 20,000 in my bank and I'm ready to buy a car. When I started my own academy. And I felt like, wow. And as a passionate guy, it took me to another side of this thing called coaching and life. And I was like, okay, and it would amaze me, like African kids wouldn't mind sitting with me telling me their problems. They wouldn't mind, like, they're like, and I was like, and these parents who are Afrikaners, they trusted me with their kids, like, and I was like, wow. So what was even Foshville is actually in the rural areas of Gauteng. So even them, they are actually deprived of opportunities, if I may say. So because the main focus is our St. Davis and stuff like that. So they actually appreciated this quality coach who's coming here to coach their kids. So for me, that is actually one of the highlights of my career. I was coaching, that was 2015, so I said, remind you, I was coaching since 2007, so that was my 8th year into coaching. I actually felt I mattered when I started my own academy. I was like.
And this academy was non-racial, in the sense that you welcomed everybody, whether they are black, white, pink, yellow, whatever. They were free to come to your academy. Is that what I understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Because it was a private academy, so you had to pay to get to my academy.
Yes.
So, but I was never made to feel like I'm paying you, so you're gonna listen to me. A parent will drop his kid, come back after an hour to fetch his kid, get the report from me. You see, what I've learned, it actually gave me a bit of what is it? A view of parts of South Africa and parts of the Afrikaner culture.
Yes.
Because they would say, "Elisterni klapum." I would like to me in my I would like, hey, like if I'm gonna hit an African kid, like yeah, listen to you, but don't do that. So yeah, I mean some of those.
You couldn't imagine you beating a white man's child. Giving a clap to a white man's child being a black man, eh?
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah. No. Also, like now, what if he's in a bad mood the other day? Then now he's starting to clap the child. Like, yeah. So I mean, and I also that came also from Belvedere Cricket Club. I must give them credit because I started doing some one-on-ones there in Cape Town, but it wasn't successful. So they would even say the same thing, that he doesn't listen, clap him. So I was like, no, I'm not gonna do that. I said to myself, like, okay, I got permission, but I'll tell the child, listen, I got the permission to clap you, but I'm not gonna do that. So for me, I actually felt, I felt for the first time, I was like, wow. So private coaches make this much money. I even had a guy from Kagiso, what's his name? Shadrach. Because I did play a bit for Kagiso. Because I did continue playing, but it was also for fun. Just played. So Shadrach was working with me, not for me. I don't want the word for me. So just that now, is any brand that is new, then if you're not prepared when the winds come, I'm not gonna blame anyone. I'm not gonna blame race. If you're not prepared when the winds come, then any brand will collapse. So yeah, so the brand collapsed, and I take full responsibility. But what I would say is this: like after 8 years of my coaching, it took 8 years for me to feel like, wow, so I can actually feed myself, I can actually feed my family with this thing.
So let me understand this. Now, when you talk about your own private academy, what, if any, was the relationship between your private academy and Cricket South Africa?
So, how Cricket South Africa does, I can say Cricket South Africa will give a mandate. Like the government, for example, the government will say, listen here, we need 3 black players in the team, right? Then they won't even care how those black players come. So there are no academies which partner with CSA, which I know. All the academies that I worked for, the CSA doesn't have anything to say, doesn't have a say. So it's actually their own thing. And actually, just to expose something, right? You see these top players we have in South Africa, the top white players. As you can see, they come from those schools, like the schools that we can say the so-called
Model C schools, private schools,
cricketing schools, where they are coached. You see, so their parents actually pay money to hire a private coach so that my child can make a team. So Cricket SA doesn't really do anything to develop players. They actually pick players. So anyone can come and say to me now and say, listen here, we've developed this player. Same thing with the hubs in Soweto now. The hub coaches coach the kids, of course, yes, they are paid by CSA, but the Gauteng will, what they'll do, they'll just pick So they'll pick players. So a private academy has got nothing to do with CSA. It's got nothing to do with with the Gauteng Cricket Board. It is actually my project. I'm saying, listen, I'm doing extra lessons. If you want to improve your cricket, come to me. I've been coaching cricket for 8 years. So after for the first time in 8 years.
So it's a private private enterprise.
Yes, sir.
You know, you do not consider yourself as falling under CSA at all. If anything, you are independent.
Yes, sir.
Of Cricket South
Yes,
Africa.
sir. You are independent. Of course, you cannot lie to people and say you are a level 2, then you're not. Then CSA is going to have a problem with that. So parents can research and say, but are you a level 2? Really? Let's find out. So if now I put my CV and say I'm a level 2, I've been coaching for this long. So the parents have to find out that is this guy telling the truth. So maybe they can come to Gift Mate, if he's still the coach's manager, and say, listen, we've got Piwe here. He says a level 2, but we see his level of skill is crazy, is nonsense. So can you understand? So I think also the parents have got the right to say there's then trouble. So as much as it is not linked to CSA doesn't really care what I do, but at the end of the day, I'm still using the courses and the skills that, and then also I'm making sure that those kids, they get picked for the province, because that's why they come anyway.
Yes.
Like, listen here, I wanna make Gauteng, so coach, can you help me here? So you don't make any partnerships with CSA. It would have been nice if we did, because as black coaches, we struggle. First of all, to get a venue in the suburbs is difficult. Because how academies work, just since there's a bit of interest, we're getting to border, because there's actually my main course. So how academies work, I form an academy as Piwe. Now the schools are gonna say, listen, we're gonna outsource an academy. So if, let's say, St. John's, they want their cricket to improve, they're gonna come to me, Piwe, you got an academy, listen here, you deal with our cricket. So I, Piwe, in my academy, is the one who's responsible to hire coaches there. I come with my own staff. So if St. John's Street doesn't improve, then with me, then they fire me, they get another academy. So if I can give you an example now in the Gauteng North, DJ coaching is dominating. You can't even get a venue, one net, even to rent. To say, listen here, can I rent a net? Because I just want to do my private coaching. Because it's a monopoly basically between the big shots. Big shots is basically the white people. Okay, it's white people, big shots, the big shots. If I can give you an example, you know, we got ex-players like Jimmy Cook. Jimmy Cook is a big hit. Then, you know, he can get a venue anywhere he wants. The CEO of Gauteng Cricket Board, for what his name is, running DJ coaching. Almost all those schools. He's a CEO of Gauteng Cricket Board. He also runs an academy. All those schools there are ran by him. Because I remember when I came here, like, I wanted to do the same thing because I've learned it from Ryan Meron. I wanted to listen, even if I can get one school, man, you see. Yeah, I met the guy from DJ. No, come join us, DJ. I was like, hey, to be exploited again, because I know that I'm gonna get peanuts. And a lot of guys I know, they work for DJ. Even Sunny Boy work for DJ coaching, and they give you peanuts. And that's actually one of the things that for me when I leave, like, maybe it could help that the coaching structure, the coaching fraternity, the coaching field can be regulated, so that people cannot be exploited. You see, I mean, I was listening to Sunny Boy's story. Sunny Boy is a big hit. I know Sunny Boy, but I've never met him. So they're like, had you seen Sunny Boy? He was a man, but he was sitting here crying because he cannot even get a job. If Sunny Boy can let's say, for example, can get a venue to coach privately, people will come, but you cannot even get a venue because it's a monopoly in the north. So here are the challenges facing as black coaches. Number one, there are no opportunities to coach, to even develop our own places, because like they are the hubs now. So GCP says who must coach at the hub. So if they don't want you, you cannot coach there. Number two, there's a school system.
JCB meaning
Gauteng Cricket Board.
Gauteng
CGL.
Cricket Board.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's
in law, in our profession, it means General Council of the Party.
No, I think they changed their names to CGL. So we are deprived. They're pushing to coach a cast late. We cannot coach because if they don't want it, they don't want you. And like they gave us the opportunity to do these courses. So if it let me do a course, and then I'm 35 years old, what do you think I'm gonna eat? like Donald dad like trying to be a DJ, and that broke my heart. Donald now left, and I met a lot of guys from Soweto like saying, listen here, I'm even making beats now. You see, hub, and then number two, the big and lucrative part of cricket, of coaching, is schools cricket, because cricket CSA has trained all these black coaches, and like maybe there are so many, but here's the thing: we have schools cricket. Why not regulate the schools cricket and say, listen here, as much as there's a quota for players, then let's have a quota for coaches. If I can ask you today, how many black coaches are coaching first team, high school first team? I've been a level 2 since 2010. And to be a level 2, you must at least be coaching a high school first team. You must at least be coaching a club. You must, yeah. But however, now when you apply to these schools, they tell you to do a level 3. Like you must have a level 3. But now to do a level 3, you must be coaching a first team. So how are you going to do a level 3? So, and a level 3 enables you to apply for professional jobs in these schools. But now, in order for you to do level 3, you need to work provincially and coach at these schools. So there's something that doesn't add up to me. How are you going to make level 3? And people have been doing level 3s, but we've never seen them coaching those schools. I'm like, it's actually the stuff that we're discussing as coaches, like, guys, listen here. The system is changing now a bit. Now, with my experience, I cannot apply in Limpopo because I'm a level 2, because it's a ceiling now. Like, it doesn't allow me to apply for any professional job because I'm a level 3. And I've been coaching cricket since 2007. I think it's 14 years now. And I cannot do a level 3. So, and a level 3, I must be invited by Gauteng Cricket Board. Then they talk to, Coach Mr. Mate. So those are the challenges, actually, basically, that I was talking about. So, hub, we're not allowed. Schools, there are no black coaches. Clubs in the suburbs. Because I mean, we need to make a reality. Like there's no money, but there are a lot of clubs in the suburbs who actually take black players, because there's a mandate from CSA to say, listen here, you have to coach, you have to have X number of black players. How about if CSA said, listen here, because I spoke to another guy called Mark Petty. Yeah. I said to him the other day, listen here, I was at Eds. I said, Mark, I'd like to work with the first team. Maybe do bowling or something. He said, no, for you there, you need to be a level 3. I said, how can I be a level 3? Because in order for me to be a level 3, I need to be coaching a first team coach, and then you're telling me this. So you see, there's something that doesn't add up. Just
it's a vicious cycle.
Yeah, yes, sir. So for me, if the cricketing fraternity can be regulated, it must be regulated. If you're an academy, because I'm sure. Also, one thing that maybe we should do after we leave here, maybe we need to find out how many black coaches we have, and then we see how can we make sure that their dignity is taken back. Because we, as coaches, we got no dignity. So if I can go there, maybe I think I'm closer now to border, because time is against me.
Before you move on to border, can you just briefly explain why your academy did not succeed?
Okay, so my academy, an academy, you don't contract kids. So because you cannot say you have a 12-month contract. So they say to me, listen here, I need to work on betting. So I say, listen here, my fee then was 120 per session. So then I say, listen here, I cannot accept one session, so you have to pay for 4 sessions. then it's a month to month and like trust based business. Also, it actually works with the season. So in the West Rand, this is basically cricket and rugby. So during the rugby season, they're like, hey, coach, and then there's nothing you can do about that to make sure that you. So my point is, my aim was actually to come because I know that Joburg Central is actually big cricket like throughout the year, so they play cricket. So my aim was to expand it to here. So when that phase came, when that season ended, I wasn't prepared. So I wasn't prepared to grow, and I was like, yeah. So I hit rock bottom. I wasn't prepared for the bad times, because in everything that you do, you must be prepared for the bad times. Because I was happy that I was making between 16,000 and 20,000. I was like, hey, I expected that thing to go like longer, you know. And then so I'll be frank, I'll be honest, I made bad financial decisions because I didn't expect that moment to come. Because I remember one parent asking me, why didn't you save? I was like, I don't know. I'm like, yeah, and like I was like, yeah, and like, but I mean, like, so that's why I feel I made bad financial decisions. But then again, not to make excuses, I was 2015, so I was 27. I mean, 27, 28. I was 27, 28, yeah. So, I mean, I've never had that much money in my life, so I was like, hey, you understand? So, yeah, so it's that's what happens sometimes when.
But you were your own boss.
I was my own boss.
And you were coaching in this academy. You were imparting your skill to cricketers, kids of all races.
Of all races.
Yeah, and genders.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you had female people coming to.
Yeah. Unfortunately, when it comes now to the private coaching sector and field, and maybe we can go and find status to more suburbs. Parents don't really bring kids to private coaching to cricket because women's cricket is not as big as men's cricket. So I mean, like nobody aspires to say. I don't know how many people who got daughters say aspire to be maybe Ayabonga Kaka or Marali's Cup or something. I don't know. Because it's all about the space we are in the world. So cricket is probably one of the biggest sports in the world. So as boys, we actually want to aspire. If there's a World Cup playing, SABC 3 has to show. But if there's a Women's World Cup, like we don't even know what's happening. So also TV plays a big role because it played a big role in my life. Because I became a coach because of TV. So I saw Lance Klusner there, and it's actually very sad. Just to touch on this, as a coach, you coach in the township. And then kids don't even know what's happening because cricket is only shown when Proteas are playing here, but there's no domestic cricket on TV, nothing. So as a coach, you have to start from zero. Also, it's all about the mentality, how to set fields. So it's actually, that's why like there were no girls. I've been coached girls in my academy to this date.
Just to close up the issue of the academy, I hear you to be saying that you made mistakes.
Yes, sir.
You've learned lessons.
Yes, sir.
Would you do it again, if only better this time?
No, as we speak, after the border cricket issue, since we're going to go to.
Yes.
So my academy failed 2017. Then I opened an NPO again, which was called the Joba.
Yeah.
So Joba, so I don't know how many, how can I explain it in English? So as a village boy, if you see Amatol, the cows, when they are about to milk, they're like so happy, they jubilate.
Joba means happy.
Yeah.
Happy.
So Joba, so I was like, listen here, I've had an academy. Also another thing, the black kids from Foshville Cocos, they couldn't pay. So I was like, listen here, let me register this NPO. Like going back to Cape Town, I learned that, listen here, if you do a community project, you need to register an NPO.
Yes.
I registered the NPO, I gathered the kids. I got equipment from... I got sponsored by a club, All Parks, and then Parades. The storeroom in Carlton was full, so the aim was to develop. Like I heard that there were hubs. Since I couldn't get to the hubs, I had to do something for myself. listen here guys, I want to get back to the system, because there's a system that is there. And if you do private coaching, you're not in the system. So you can coach for 20 years and you won't get any recognition, you won't get, So I to get back to the system, I was asking myself, how can I get back to the system? Let me get Globa, then Globa is going to develop these kids. Hopefully CSA can form a hub under Globa. Then I'm creating a job for me and other people. And then in that sense, now I did approach people again. I sent calling Globa, emails. I mean, even here, if you can see here, I sent Mr. Globa the email telling him about this, telling me about me, that listen here, I don't have a job, I'm a cricket coach, but I would like to do this. So can you guys assist me? I contacted Mr. David Makoponela from CSA, and then, but there was a guy from, because Carltonville is like a border town. So it's between Northwest and so I got contacted by a guy called Piwe. Piwe said, listen to me, I want to meet with you, but Carltonville is under Gauteng Cricket Board, so Mr. Collingwood should be the one to attend to you. So then we had equipment, we had everything. I was coaching the kids, we just needed support. And I did ask for support as a coach. Now I was coaching cricket for how many years? Now this is 2017 now. It's my 10th year as a coach. I'm telling you, guys, listen here, help me out here. It's okay. So nothing was done because my vision was to have a hub there.
What sort of help were you looking for?
I was actually, I needed a help. So now I was older, 29 years old, so I couldn't volunteer. I couldn't have stipends. So I wanted them to help make Carltonville a hub.
I see.
Then I can be the head coach of the hub, then I can get paid. Because Carltonville, there's no cricket. How unfortunately with this hub thing, also there are loopholes, because if you remember my statement back, they actually focus on the townships that are already there. So for example, Soweto, Yolanga, they don't accept new places basically. The only place I know that is new, Orange Farm, is very good, we appreciate that. But if you say from this place, then it's like, man, so, and also, in my opinion, and maybe in my view, they usually do these things for TV. Because, just to go back, we appreciate Lang. They did a good job, cricket. But have you gone to Khayelitsha? Have you ever heard of Khayelitsha Cricket Club? Have you ever heard of Langa Cricket? Not Langa.
Isn't there a hub in Khayelitsha?
No.
There is a hub in Khayelitsha, but how much it is used, I'm not so sure.
Yes, sir.
But there was a photograph that we shown here. I think Max Jordan was yes, testifying, and he showed us this.
Yes, there is a hub in Khayelitsha. There is a hub.
And it seemed, though, that it was not the sort of panacea that you think a hub is, because
yes,
you were saying, there it is, but, it's either underused or not used at all.
You're going to hear what I'm about to say with the border. So since I coached the hub, I was a hub head coach.
Yeah.
So
yes.
So yes, there is a hub in Khayelitsha. Now we go back to Nyanga. Nyanga, I was talking about Ngawe now. Nyanga is actually one of the most notorious places in South Africa, which will need a hub. I'm just making an example because I know people from Nyanga. There are townships for example, I'm just talking about now the media focus. Because if Lang is already popular, everyone is now focused on Lang. Going back to me now, I'm from Delft. Nobody cares about Delft, even to this day. You see, so now talking about Carltonville, saying to me I'm from Carltonville. This guy is from Carltonville, man. Maybe you would have been better if it was from someone from Soweto. Now we want us to start a new thing. So of course my aim was to, when I started the Kyoba, develop cricket as a hub, and then get that assistance. Then Mr. Kyoba was never replied to me. I remember I came physically here, there was a tournament. I said to Mr. Kyoba, please man, I've got this idea. He said, email me. That's what he would say. And I emailed him. He used a lot of my emails. You see. So because as I said, the opportunities were not easy to come by, and as a black coach, as I said, going back to a run back, you would actually be the one who's punished instead of the kid. and so. So the opportunity was not coming by. So that was my main aim to starting the job. I was like, listen here, going back to the township and making sure that I get something sustainable. I got this equipment donated, and then I became highly depressed, highly depressed, and it's something that I've been dealing with, in the game, because I started back in Cape Town. Because imagine as a man in your early 20s, you're receiving 15,000, 20,000 to give you the transport, but none comes to you. And at home, and you love what you do, you wanna grow, but the opportunities are depressing. So I remember that time was like seriously depressed when I went back to home. So I went back to Engoba. Then I was like, okay, that's how I met people from border. Because now I took that equipment, I took a bag with me of equipment. I'm like, listen here, I gave my life to this game, and there's nothing else I can do. So what can I do? There's nothing left for me to do. So if it kills me, then it must kill me. Then yeah, it's okay. I went to Engobo. I went to the Department of Education there, but it's a small town, so they got. But Engobo was actually practicing because like I couldn't rent in Gauteng. I had no place to stay, so I had to go back home. I went back home and then Cape Town. Like now, I knew the situation there that it's worse. I cannot. If I can tell you to this day, Coach MZ, Coach Bulelani, they're still toiling to this day. The guys who inspired me to coach. Coach Mark Kobana, the guy who inspired me, the only guy I saw as a black professional coach then, instead he became an administrator now because there are no opportunities in coaching. So I was like, I cannot go back to Cape Town, and I'm a man now, so I cannot go back home and say I'm gonna go and volunteer. I'm a man. So I went back to Engobo. Then I hope with the hope, and I met with the mayor there. Listen, guys, this is what I want to do. Because I've been coaching. They were like happy, jolly there. That's how I met border cricket. Because even Praloid, Loisos Check, gave me a chance to speak on radio there, and like, wow, like, you love this game. And before going to border, what I've learned in this game of cricket as a coach, hard work, passion mean nothing. They mean absolutely nothing. So like, because there's nothing to gauge coaches. Like, listen here, Coach Piwe is doing this and that. And then once you are not in the system, even when I get back in the system, you can't. Because I remember now, a few weeks back, I'm just gonna go to the border because I asked, I connected Mr. Dumile Skate. I said, listen, because now my quest now was this, like, I wanna do my level 3. Now I aspire to do a level 3. So I don't wanna take anything that's not gonna give me that opportunity. So I spoke to Mr. Dumile Skate. Dumile, like, I would like to assist the women's team. So yeah, because now at least I'm no longer too much a cast. You see, I'm coaching in the suburbs a bit. So I said, I don't really care about, but I want a chance to do a level 3. But I want to work with the women's team. I was told that you're not in the system, so we want people in the system. So if you're not in the system, how do you get in the system? And like this time, I don't even want their money. I want nothing. I even like wanted to work in clubs like Alex pro bono to say, listen here guys, Alexander is playing Premier League, and I'm good enough to coach the first team. I don't care about money. If you guys don't like are not willing to pay, I'll actually find a way because I want to do my level 3. And I don't have those opportunities.
I'm sorry, we have far exceeded the time that we had. So if you wanted to say your top submission in 5 minutes, because
you 5 minutes. Okay.
We have far exceeded. We should have gone at least until 12:30. We are now at 5 to 1.
Okay. So just to share my issue at border. So at border, I was appointed as a hub coach. So a hub coach must get a 12-month contract. So, as I said, I got through border via Joba. So when I did my stuff, then I contacted Mr. Edward Koza. Then and then I was on radio, and people were like, okay. So Mr. Leftingate from Kai Cricket Board, Border Cricket, came to Engobo. And then he saw the situation there, and he wanted to give me the opportunity. So I was given the opportunity to apply. Then I applied, and I got the job. Now the first thing that was wrong with that, number one, a hub coach must get a 12-month contract. I got a 7-month contract. I started in October. The reason why they get 12 months contract is because you must prepare as a coach, because in the winter season you must prepare and gather staff. When I got the 12-month contract, the 7-month contract, I'm entitled to 2 assistant coaches. I had none. I'm entitled to equipment. I had none. I'm entitled to a laptop. I don't have a laptop. Phone and data. I have none of those. That goes for 3 months, and the hub is with 7 teams.
But why do you say you're entitled to those things? Please explain.
It is in my contract.
Oh,
it is my so you must get 2 assistant coaches because you deal with 7 teams.
Sure.
So none of those happened for the first 7 months. Thankfully, I was using my sister's laptop.
Sure.
I was using the equipment that was donated for Joba at Border Cricket at Kai Mtata. I spoke to my manager, and I've got some, but because of time, I've got. So I spoke to him about it, and he saw it. So it came a time where, because as I said, opportunities they don't come easy in cricket. So I wanted to do the best I can do in that job. So I wanted to give my ultimate best, to be 100%. So I contacted Mr. Boy, the CEO. Nothing was done. Because I report to CSA every 25th of every month. So I had to contact David and ask him, how is it happening that I'm not getting equipment for the first 3 months and I've got a 7-month contract? So this is going to make me look incompetent. To cut the story short, January 2019, the equipment came, and then it came, and so that's when the problem started. And then there was a hub week in Potchefstroom. So I was told, so I'm just gonna, So there was a hub week in Potchefstroom. When I was told that I must go and get my ticket flights and itinerary and stuff like that. The hub team is going to Potchefstroom. So I suggested and I said, how can we go to Potchefstroom with a border team, but me as a coach, I've got boys here who are not sent to trials. At least give them a trial. They said the hub is new here, so, but my argument was this: the hub is not new. Yes, the hub is new, but cricket is not new. These kids are playing cricket here, so send them to Forte. We sent 2 boys to Forte. One of them was taken. His name was Piwe Moshane from Gandabhai.
I think
we'll take some of your things from your
I think
statement.
that please just explain why you think you were unfairly treated, why your contract was unfairly treated.
Number one,
terminated. Yes.
Okay, number one, hub coaches get 12-month contracts.
Yes.
I got a 7-month contract.
Yes.
Number one. Number two, I got no assistant coaches who I'm entitled to.
Yes.
So to begin with. Number three, as I said, I did my part in identifying talent. The boy that I did identify went to become leading run scorer for Border Cricket. Number three, that contract, before you terminate it, it's actually, as much as it's a contract, but you must tell me what I did wrong. Talk to me, tell me, listen, Piwe, this is what you did. Review me. And then also, when you review me, make sure that you gave me the full support.
So you were not reviewed?
I was not. All the coaches, other coaches, were reviewed.
Except you? Except
me. And I just received a letter, this letter, and also the same thing I said to Mr. Makopo, because after that I sent a Dikoza, a email and David Makopo telling them that I was using my equipment for the first 3 months, I did this and this and this and that, and lastly I wasn't reviewed. I don't know what I did wrong, because when I was here in Potchefstroom, I spoke to David Makoponela. He said to me, listen here, if it was up to me, I'll give you another term because you identified this boy. But when they answered me, they said their hands are tied. It was up to Porter. So those are the things for me that I would like to understand. That why did they not review me, and like what did I like? Is there not to say that I don't want my job back, but I'm already doing some private stuff here in Joburg. So yeah. Also number 3, I want to do my level 3. And they took that opportunity away from me because I wanted through that project to do a level 3 because it is the only, it's one of the few opportunities you can do a level 3. I want to grow as a coach. So now I'm just doing privates. Again, I'm out of the system.
Piwe, I'm afraid your time is long past even the one that
Okay.
We will pick up some of the things that you have drawn our attention to from the annexures to your submission, your letters to cricket services managers in College Drive and all the other, to Mr. Koza,
Thank you.
to Mrs. Kuzoyo, and but thank you very much for taking the trouble to come and be here in person.
Thank you.
Maybe that is why, I allowed you to go further than I should have.
No,
It was the nearness of you.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you very much for having come.
Okay.
We should straight away get on to the next participant, Mr. Gandabhai. It's on virtual, is it? Okay, you can, yeah. It's no longer good morning. It looks like you are muted. Are you?
Oh, I can hear you.
Oh, yes, I can hear you too. And the name, how do you pronounce it? Gandabhai.
That's right, but you can call me Ajit. A-J-I-T.
A-K-I-T. Now,
Ajit.
I think I like Mr. Gandabhai. Mr. Gandabhai will just do the formalities and then, from Advocate Ngele, and then Mr. Abraham will take you through the paces, such as they are.
Thank you, Chair. Afternoon, Mr. Gandabhai.
Thank you.
Will you be taking an oath or will you affirm?
I'll affirm.
Mr. Gandabhai, do you affirm that the evidence that you will be giving today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If that is so, please raise your right hand and say, "So I affirm."
So I affirm.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gandabhai. You've now been sworn in as a participant in the SJN hearings.
Mr. Abraham?
Good afternoon, Mr. Gandabhai.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for making time to meet with us and to tell your story.
Thank you.
This is an opportunity for you to explain to us why you approached the Ombudsman. But before you get into the gist of your story, we'd like you to please give us a background about yourself. Where you are involved in cricket at the moment, at what level, and what you are doing in terms of cricket. And then you can then go tell us why you are here.
Okay, I'm involved with Azad Swaraj Sporting Club all my life. I'm president, I'm captain of our Sunday 3 team, and I've been with the club since I was a child, playing in Natal Spring. So that's currently I'm a volunteer teacher. But as you know, the schools are out of bounds for all personnel not directly employed by the Department of Education.
Yes.
But I work for an NGO called Help to Read.
The NGO is called?
Sorry?
What is the name of the NGO?
Help to Read.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So it's H-E-L-P to numeric read, R-E-A-D, help to read.
Yes, sir. So you've been involved as a player and you're now an administrator, am I right?
Correct.
And this is the Azad Swaraj Cricket Club, Sporting
Correct.
Club. Is it cricket only or it does other sporting codes?
Initially, we had soccer and cricket.
Yes, sir.
Soccer fell by the wayside,
Yes.
and we're now in a rebuilding phase.
So at what level of the game does the club participate? Are you in any league?
We play at Gauteng Cricket
Yes, sir.
League, Sunday 1, Sunday 3,
Yes.
and Saturday 1, 2, and 3.
Okay. So please tell us your story then. Why did you approach the Ombudsman?
Yeah. Can I read the letter?
Yes, sir.
Then we can take it from there.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The letter is titled Facilities.
Yes, sir.
Our club is celebrating the 78th year of its existence, and over the years have produced excellent results on the field of play. Currently, we have 5 senior teams playing in the CGL. We have produced 5 brochures recording the history of the club from 1943 to 2018. We have and had no full-time staff, all work carried out by volunteers. We turned Progress Cricket Field, based in Malaysia, from a dust bowl to a fairly well-developed ground, having raised and spent monies over the past 8 years repairing the roller, painting the side screen, fencing, maintaining the pitch and the outfield, relaying the turf wickets, laying the sprinkler system around the pitch and watering the outfield by laying pipes, repairing the astronets and buying ground equipment. But there are no dressing rooms, ablution facilities, turf nets, clubhouse, or decent boundary markers. So when it rains, you run to your car for refuge. Instead of focusing our energies on developing the playing side of the club, we have spent endless time in developing the Progress Cricket Ground. Our club played a pivotal role in establishing the non-racial Transvaal Cricket Board in 1975, which fought multinational cricket and isolating South Africa from international competition. As far as the Malaysia tech fields are concerned, I refused to play on Turf 3 on the 15th of March 2020 because the pitch and the outfield were not up to scratch, including the Astro wickets. The Turf 4, where we as the non-racial cricket body, the Transvaal Cricket Board, stage inter-provincial matches there has been abandoned for the past 8 years at least. We have played at Deep Sloot, Orange Farm, Annandale and Marlborough, and facilities there are also well below par. Again, no dressing room facilities or ablution facilities. Also, there are no cricket facilities available in the Johannesburg, Fordsburg, Mayfair area where many cricketers reside. Therefore, we are forced to pay to hire facilities to fulfill our fixtures, and so do other clubs as well. The North Cliff Old Potts Road and the Jubilant Field in Mayfair West needs to be upgraded. There is also a facility at Block Park, Mayfair, where the cricket table is still visible. This lack of decent facilities at grassroots level also militates against the growth of cricket. There was a post by the great former Protea bowler Vernon Philander in August 2020 regarding the lack of world-class cricket facilities. This is also very relevant. Until we create facilities and level the playing field to give every South African an equal opportunity to play at the highest level, we will forever carry a burden of inequality, and our dreams of non-racial cricket will remain a mirage. We therefore recommend that during the investigation by the Ombudsman, that particular attention be given to finding creative solutions for resources to be allocated to upgrade sporting facilities by convening meetings such that the cricket fraternity, provincially and nationally, local government departments, municipal, provincial and national, as well as SESCO, jointly and severally take responsibility to address the problem. The outcomes should be such that players from juniors to seniors are able to walk to decent cricketing facilities. Provision of facilities must be made at the top of the priority list. So, Mr. Chair and fellow panelists, the issue of facilities is one of the pillars of transforming cricket. And I'm sorry to say that it's been sorely lacking. Now, the Progress Ground, municipal owned, has been developed by our club. It's one of the better facilities in Malaysia. But there's a field of 8 pitches in Malaysia called the tech fields. Can you hear me now?
No, I'm trying to get the technician to increase the volume a bit here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. Sure.
Shall I wait or continue?
No, we can hear you well. It's far better now.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so the tech fields have got 8 pitches. and I played there for past 30 years maybe, and nothing has changed. In fact, if I remember, in 2019, there was a demonstration held in the Malaysia CBD protesting against the poor facilities at the Malaysia Tech. So the reason why I'm here is that something be done like yesterday to address the question of facility. Because if you want to give every child equal opportunity to play cricket at the highest level, facilities. So I'm hoping that this project brings some semblance of responsibility to Cricket South Africa, government, and SESCO to address this issue. And I speak for amateur cricket, each and every amateur cricket, because a lot of emphasis has been placed on elitist professional cricketers, and we as amateur cricketers have been left to fend for ourselves. And I might also add that if you have to have such a hearing for swimming, for rugby, for soccer, for tennis, for table tennis, for archery, all the Olympic sports, the first complaint you're going to get is facility. Thank you.
Now, let's go back to the Lenasia Cricket Club. You say the facility, and you also mention other places where you've played before. And you say that the state of the facilities are even worse than what you have. And
yes, I can give you an example.
Yes, sir.
I played in Enerdale maybe 3 seasons ago. I can't remember.
Yes, sir.
But there was no shade.
Yes.
So we had to park our cars along the boundary wall.
Yes.
And seek shelter.
Yes.
That's how bad Enerdale is. Orange Farm, the same problem. Open field, no trees, no place to change. If it rains, you run in your car. Deep Sloot, at least there's a nice sports hut there. And it's got tennis, it's got football, so there's a great opportunity to develop, but it's an astro wicket.
Yes.
Orange Farm is an astro wicket. Now, if you want to be a top-class cricketer, you need turf net and you need a turf field. Now, at the Lenasia Tech grounds, there's 4 astro, and even those, the condition of those, to the best of my knowledge, as we speak, are in poor shape.
Have you approached the CSA at all for help at any stage?
Not CSA, but CGL, most definitely.
Yes.
And the local municipality,
yes,
officials as well.
And what's been the outcome?
Nothing concrete. As we said, nothing.
But do you reckon is it a function of lack of commitment or just lack of resources?
I think it's a bit of everything.
Yes.
But there's no urgency to address the problem.
Why do you think that
now,
is so?
Now, let me give you an example.
Yes, sir.
On the 15th of March, when I refused to play, the team we were playing against was from Mayfair.
From where? Mayfair.
That's March the 15th, 2020.
Yes, sir.
When we went to go play in Indonesia
Yes.
at the turf wicket. 6 of us are from the Johannesburg area, and I got a few players from Indonesia.
Yes.
So we traveled to Indonesia to play our home and away.
Yes.
So what was striking is that the team Jubilee traveled all the way from Mayfair. 6 of us traveled all the way from Johannesburg. And I told the players that if you want to play with dignity, it doesn't matter you travel 37 km going and 37 back. You must maintain your dignity and not play. So I'm not talking rocket scientists, I'm talking 15 months.
Yes.
And if you look at the Johannesburg central area, you look at Mayfair, you look at Fordsburg, there's no cricket facility. Where do I go and train? There's no net facility. So that's the position. Unless somebody contradicts me, I'll be quite happy.
Yes. But you say, I asked you a question earlier, whether it's a function of lack of commitment or lack of resources, and your response was that it's a bit of everything, and
Yes.
there's lack of agency. Please expatiate on that.
I didn't hear your last.
You say that your summary is that there is lack of agency. Please explain
Yes.
that. Please explain that.
Well, you see, nobody comes to you and says, you know what, we understand that this is the problem. But what we're going to do, we're going to take one pitch at a time, and over a 5-year period,
Yes.
we're going to turn them and spend money.
Yes.
And you're going to get clubs to take ownership of those turfs. You see, nothing is put on the table that's of a concrete nature.
Yes.
So, I mean, what can I term that as?
Now,
It's not urgent.
sure. So my understanding is that your approaches have, up to this far, been at CGL level. And
Sorry?
at CGL, you said you've been reporting and you've tried to approach CGL for help. Am I right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. The point I'm making is that you haven't had much joy. You have not had much success at CGL level. Have you considered approaching CSA directly for intervention?
Well, we were contemplating to go directly to Cricket South Africa, but Cricket South Africa were also in the disarray with all sorts of issues.
Yes.
So I think since November 2019, I think they've had so many meetings and so many issues. So we thought, okay, let's give it a rest. And then your project came up and I said, well, what better place to raise it than here? So no, we did not approach CSA, but it was in the offing.
Yes. So now that we've got a new board, there's a new sheriff in town, as it were, would you consider doing that?
Well, if from what I understand, you've been mandated to hear submissions, evidence.
Sure.
You will then put a report together,
Yes, sir.
present it to Cricket South Africa, and hopefully the issue of facilities will be included, will be highlighted, and Cricket South Africa will then contact us.
Okay. Let's go back to the issue. Yeah, thank you very much for that response. Let's go back to the issue of facilities again. I mean, you mentioned yourself, Lilinesia, you mentioned Deep Slot, Orange Farm, Ennerdale, Marlborough, Mayfair, and so on, Fortsburg. The situation is the same. And it would seem to me that there are too many competing demands. And it might well be that there aren't enough resources to meet the demands for facilities. Can you suggest any creative way of solving and addressing all these competing demands? Do you care to offer a view on that?
Okay. So we take 10 people. You say, okay, we're going to spend 50,000 rand over the next 5 years to fix up 2 fields each.
Yes.
That's a plan. It's on the table. City Council, Department of Sport, City Parks, the Mayor's Office, can come to the party and say, guys, okay, so it means each one of us must find 10,000. And that's how we make 50,000 available every season, and we start repairing 2 pitches each.
Yes.
I mean, that's what I'm talking about.
In your mind, is it viable even to think about centralizing facilities? In other words, instead of having a facility in each of these townships and areas, is there a possibility even of having central facilities somewhere which is accessible to people from all areas? Is something like that viable in your view?
No. Cricket is a social sport.
Yes.
Cricket is about 22 players playing a game of cricket. Through cricket, people get to know each other.
Yes, sir.
People help each other. It's an extension of the community. So, if I take Deep Sleuth, there's a facility there, you don't have to do anything, you just have to repair the existing Orange Farm, Ennerdale. All the facilities are there. You just need to be upgraded, involve the community as well as the cricketers, the players. And so there's no need to centralize anything.
Yeah.
Because the players of Deep Sleuth should be getting up in the morning, put on their kit, walk to the ground, welcome the opposition, play, and go. It's as simple as that.
Okay.
I haven't played in Alexander for some time now. I'm not sure what situation is there. I played in Soweto Oval, but that must be maybe 8 years ago.
Yes.
Again, I think there should be more cricket fields in Soweto.
Yes.
And I'm not even talking about net facility, because where do you train? You know, I'm just talking about the existing ground.
Yes.
3 kilometers from where I stay, there's a beautiful ground. It just needs to be developed. It's there.
Yes.
It's on the North Cliff top. It was a field. We trained there and then it disappeared. So we don't know. So we caught in the middle between CGL, Cricket South Africa, city parks, mayor's office. I don't know. But if there's a world,
yes,
a plan can be put into place. And I'm not even talking about school facilities.
yes,
I'm not even talking about school facilities because I think the schools got enough on their hands to teach children how to read and write, especially with the pandemic. So I'm not even going, I'm just talking about existing. Marlborough is a beautiful ground, stand for everything. Don't go a pitch. Footballers play on the pitch. There's no control. So I'm hoping that this concept of social justice and nation building will start today. Once you compile your report, and there's a new beginning. And I must come back again. I represent the amateur cricketers outside.
yes.
The emphasis has been on elite sport, professional cricketers, and I'm afraid we as amateur cricketers have been left behind.
Now, Mr. Gandabhai, you clearly from your letter here, you demonstrate appreciation of the fact that there are many stakeholders that need to come together. How do you think all the stakeholders can be brought together under one roof? How do you get them to all work together for the common purpose of improving facilities in our communities?
Look, there's various options. SESCOC, which is our highest sporting body, can convene a meeting of Department of Sport and Cricket South Africa and say, guys, let's map the way forward. And then it can go to provincial level, municipal. That's one option. The other option is to Cricket South Africa to go to private companies and say, can you sponsor a pitch each? So this, these are just ideas that's flowing from my mind.
Yes.
Mr. Gandabhai, can you please just tell us the background that the players you have that are part of the Azad Swaraj Sporting Club, what type of background do the players come from and what difference does the club make?
The last part I didn't get.
What difference does the sporting club make in the lives of the players that are part of the sporting club?
Oh, okay. I would say 85% of the players come from Malaysia. The balance of the 15 come from Johannesburg, Mayfair, Four Ways, south of Johannesburg. During the pandemic, we made sure that whichever player was in any dire straits, the club was there. In fact, just yesterday, there was a funeral of one of our players. He lost his brother-in-law with age 9 and 12, and he knows Azad Swaraj members, past and present, are willing to help. We also discuss any issues that we find players are struggling with in terms of access to academic studies, transport, to work. So we like a family. And I think that has helped us to raise a considerable amount of money to buy equipment. We got a roller, we got a sit-on cutter. We spent 26,000 rand repairing the nets, 8,000 rand spray weed killer on our outfield. So the structure of the club is very strong, that each and every player has got a place to fall back. So that's the nature of the club.
Right. No, thank you for that answer. And where does the club get most of its funding from?
From businesses and from club fees.
Okay.
We charge X amount per season. CGL provides the cricket balls and they provide a grant. And then we balance. We say, okay, we've got sufficient money, let's spend money to repair the nets. We need covers because if it rains, most of these fields I'm talking about, besides progress, got no covers. So if it rains Saturday night, Sunday morning, or during the game, the match is gone.
No, thank you very much. My last question then is, other than the issue of facilities, what other issues does the club have, or what other challenges does the club have?
All the other issues would be getting a coach to come and coach our senior players. In fact, I was listening to the previous coach, I forget his name, before I came on. I've just sort of concluded arrangement with the coaching academy that we start junior cricket. Now that we've got cricket nets, field is in good condition. We start the under 9 and under 11 juniors. Again, the money will come from the club. So that's some of the issue. And also another very important is access to university facilities. Universities are not the island on their own, and hopefully they can allow clubs residing around universities that do not play for the university to come and share the facility. So that would help in the short.
Yes. Do you want to make any further statements, or put it this way, would you want to ask from us what it is that you would like to see happening to this sporting code called cricket? in South Africa.
Yeah, if I understand correctly, you asking what role can this project do? I think the third last paragraph
Yes.
will answer
Yes.
the major will answer the major part of the transformation agenda. One part is facilities, the coach I think spoke about. Another part of transformation, so transformation is a process, but the very important leg of transformation will be facilities. Because out of facilities, everything will.
What would you say to a critique that says, well, there are facilities that have been left to go to waste? So what's the point of putting up facilities, state-of-the-art facilities, and then people either vandalize them in the fullness of time because they are not being used, or or just neglect them, or they don't use them. Now, as against that, whilst you are pondering about what your reaction would be to that, how does a suggestion which I thought was made in some of the testimonies, namely, that instead of having these separate facilities, one in Khayelitsha, one in Lenasia, one in Sentin, etc., why don't you create a central facility for a particular place where people, irrespective of race, color, and creed, and age, and what have you, would be able to attend, and everyone gets first-class treatment in those state-of-the-art facilities. For instance, here in Gauteng, there would be a central place where everybody would be able to access it, and therefore the coaching and whatever else is done to improve the quality of the people who are there for coaching and training, it would be the same for everybody, same to the extent that there will be no charges or accusations of people from Soweto getting a different and inferior coaching than people from Lenasia, or people from Lenasia getting inferior and less, important coaching than people from your Sentin and Melrose Estate and wherever else. What would be your thoughts about that?
Look, cricket, you see, a cricket facility, a cricket club is formed out of cricket facility. So, if you have 20 cricket facilities, you get 20 clubs. You get 20 clubs, each one has 3 teams. and then they all play against each other. What you are referring to, if I can summarize, is one central area where you have 6 fields and everybody comes to play there every Saturday and Sunday. Now, the problem with that is that if you're a student, if you're a primary school student, if you're working, you need to get home, you need to have a small snack, you want to go to your field, you want to practice catching, bowling. So if everything is centralized in one area, accessibility, although in theory it's correct, but in reality, accessibility is going to be a lie.
Now, I would have proceeded on the basis that it should not even be an issue that every schooling facility must have the requisite facilities. I was just talking about communities over and above the schools. I would proceed on the basis that whether the school is in Soweto or in, Lenasia or Guguletu or Kaelicha, every school must have sporting facilities. And that would be the Department of Basic Education and maybe Public Works, making sure that no schooling facility does not have any sporting facilities of the nature that we're talking about there. But this centralized place was more directed at clubs and whatever they call themselves nowadays, over and above what the schools and universities should have.
Yeah, look, the area where I stay in, we've got Marks Park, we've got Pirates, we've got Old Eds, we've got Randburg, they've got at least 3-4 cricket fields. And they've got sufficient they've got sufficient teams to cater for the amount of facility. So if I want to join a club at Randburg, they may say, you know what, we've got 4 fields, we've got 8 teams, 4 play away, 4 play at home, sorry, you can't. And the other important thing we've forgotten, which I've mentioned, is that we had to hire school fields to play. There are certain clubs that are hiring school fields to play their matches. So if you develop a cricket field, you develop the club, you develop the community, and a very, very important aspect that you've all forgotten is previously the community came to watch a game of cricket. Now you don't see anybody coming to a game. So you want to create a social, community-based club that will thrive, that will take care of many of the social needs we talk about. And one of the stopgaps would be strong clubs. You will then pick up if there's a drug problem, if there's dropout, if there's gender-based violence. We forget all about it. So cricket is just not a game. It's a community activity. We must bring it back. And one of the hallmarks is a decent cricket facility. I'm not even talking about cricket equipment, cricket training, fully paid coaches who come and train your club. The previous speaker, he spoke about, you want coaching, you patana. You're out of the system, you're out of the system. So, but if you have decent facilities everywhere, and there's support to employ a coach, and that's all he does, I mean, we talking, now we. But at the moment, there's nothing on the table. And because this project is about nation building and social justice, I don't want to point fingers at anyone.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, the project is doomed to failure before it even starts.
Yeah.
Because I can go back to 1976. I can give you a whole history that's in our 5 brochures. I've got them. But I said, no, we must rise above and look to tomorrow. So I thought that my appearance here will not only help cricket address its problem of facilities. Let's talk swimming. Let's talk soccer. Let's talk rugby. Let's talk gymnastics. Let's talk athletics. How many tartan tracks are there in the country? How many Olympic pools are there? So, in the interest of nation building, this submission from our club, I hope, will start a new chapter.
Well, I can't improve on that, Mr. Gandabhai. Those words of yours are going to be ringing in my head as I watch every evening, which I do, the Olympics that are taking place right now in Japan. And it's amazing how many sporting codes there actually can be in any one country, and how there's this multi-layered, codes. God, some of the things I didn't even know. Skateboarding, or whatever it's called, yes, and athletics, running, this, that, swimming. And I think of this process, and against the backdrop of what you have just said, that facilities are the facilitator to talent, and to talent being, developed and nurtured because the facilities are there. I cannot really thank you enough for singling out a particular aspect that we should not take for granted as we ponder over the submissions that have been made. It's something that one can easily take for granted, but the way you have articulated it as being one of the central issues that need to be taken into account in any sport, let alone the sport of cricket. Then to that extent, you know, you have made the task of this project richer, and it is certainly something that will go into our minds as we consider in the writing of the report some of the highlights of the submissions and testimonies that we have had. And for that, we thank you very much.
My pleasure.
And yes, and on that note, I think we can relieve each other and say we have come to the end of your testimony. I can only say what I usually say: be safe where you are. Wear a mask, wash your hands, keep a decent distance, and stay alive. We still need people with a wealth of wisdom as yours. And
thank you.
Thank you very much.
It's my pleasure.
We shall adjourn. I think in the scheme of things, we can, take the lunch hour and, and come back at 1500.